The following video is how you find lists of Rust legacy servers if they're stored anywhere on the internet, collecting them all. I'll bring up the obvious ones and the not so obvious ones. For those of you who don't know, from the year 2013 December to 2016 December, a product was available at the time just called Rust. It was changed to Rust Legacy retroactively when a new version of Rust Experimental, as it is called, came out. The game was officially abandoned and became abandonware from Facepunch, the developer, and was dropped by Steam, its distributor, and was no longer available for download and use, officially. The game would still work on servers that had been set up if you kept a list of them, or you could just manually go in by running the game, hitting F1, and cutting and pasting net.connect space, and then the domain name or IP address, as it is sometimes called, for that server. Now, an IP address, if you want to know about it, is supposed to be strictly an Internet Protocol address, and it's a string of numbers, 4 sets of 3 numbers, 0 to 255, and then a colon as the port number, and then it lists a number afterwards, but it doesn't always have to have a port number. In the case of Rust Legacy servers, it can also include having a domain name and then colon and then a port number. The listers. These listers are used instead of, or sometimes as well as, the original method, which was when you'd run the game, it would ask either Facepunch or Steam or someplace for a list of servers in a specific format by accessing a website or domain name or IP address, accessing a file with a specific name to it, dump it in memory, and then sort out what it was typed up as and tell you the name given to a server, which can be changed at any time, its IP address or domain name, and its port number. Sometimes some other details, I'll get to that in a minute. And then it would include how long the delay time or ping was, and also things like how many more people were playing and what's the maximum player count. So let's get the list out of the way. The one with the most information in it is kind of a toss-up between the top two I'm going to bring up. I'm bringing up the most conventional one, RustLegacy.eu / server list. This is an anchor in the main page that shows you a list of servers. It shows a short list because there's usually very few of them. You can change it to, I think, 50 or 20 to show per page, and you can see how many people are playing on each server. Some of these also include modded servers, which may or may not work with your Rust Legacy game client. A lot of these are done at RustLegacy.eu's own server set. Some of them are at some of the big named ones, and they list them as a courtesy. And some of them are just ordinary ones made by ordinary users like you and me who get a hold of the server files, set up a server, and then ask them to list it. And again, the list is stored on the website through an API, application program interface, or just a text file with the information in it that tells them in a specific format the information on how to show it up on the screen. I'm going to get to a proposal in a minute about that, but let's move on. RustLegacy.eu / server list is our primary one because it's also the one that seems to work most reliably. It also crashes regularly enough. A lot of us don't like that. But the servers it's pointing to, in many cases, stay up. Next, gs4u.net /en /rustlegacy. This means the website is being asked, in English, to identify anything that's named Rust Legacy as a unique identifier. It can list all sorts of games. Then we have monitoring.alcad.org !all &game equals Rust_legacy. Then we have gtop100.com /rust /version /1069. Noise. That's the version number for the server, not the client. Right? Let's move on. Another one doing the same thing is rust-servers.net /version /1069. Then we have Sarvar, tsarvar.com /en /servers /rust /version :1069. A similar one is sarvar.com/en/maps/rust_island_2013. For those of you unaware, in the game itself are references to, or the actual files for, a game level, the static level that you play in Rust Legacy, that's named Rust Island 2013. There's also one that's supposed to be Rust Island 2. There's some lore behind it, I'm sure, but I can't find all the information on it. If any of you know, please comment below. And yes, apparently in the game, like all video games, when you first start them, they either A, start with a default map name for that game, which might be the Rust Island 2 that we're looking at when we bring up the menu that shows us the fire in the background and, you know, it's a building and that sort of thing. Or it might be just bringing up a set of code to bring up the menu entirely. I don't know. I haven't decoded it yet. I'll get to it later. Now we're going to look up the names of servers that are available. We have normal and arena.rustrelic.eu with the port numbers 10,000 or 15,000. RustRelic.eu was one of my favorites. Rust, Rome, and Rust Relic had a bunch of peculiar capabilities, and they were very popular at one point. And Rust Relic did exist a couple of days ago for a little while, and I wasn't able to get on it because Rust Relic and Rust Rome both got really picky for some reason about something, and I can't find out what it is, and it's not mentioned on the Discord, so I've kind of given up. But anyway, that's Rust Relic. That's one of the things that came up on this list. And all of these lists also include ones that are dead, but were visible like in the last month. So you can note those, add them to your favorite list, which can still be edited as a text file, so that you can load up your favorite list and see if anything comes up. And it will let you say, oh, it's up, even if it doesn't show up in the main menu on your copy because it doesn't know about it. Or maybe these are down, but it might be up, but they don't know about it. So, yeah, add them to your favorites when you get the opportunity. Learn how to do that by clicking the little star button on the left side of the listings, if you can see them. Anyway, that was Rust Relic. Then we get rustrome.ru. Again, a really good one. This one is at classic.rustrome.ru:28,015. Now, this one was the one I stole all my mapping data from because it gives you a live map looking down at the ground, even though it adds in green characters and garbage onto it. At least it gives you a map that's literally the right ratio. That's what I base the map I use when I have it on my computer. I just did a screenshot and show it in the computer. Anyway, I'm going to include below cloud.mail.ru, public, and a bunch of numbers and a slash and letters and stuff for downloading their version of it that's for rustrome.ru. This is either a Trust Me Bro install or not. I haven't seen them put out one that had a virus in it. That's all I'm going to say. It might have, spyware and malware or something, but it doesn't have any viruses, and I haven't had any problems with it, and I haven't detected anything bad in it. There's also a drive.google.com folder, and then copies of rustrome.ru, or you can just go rustrome.ru and try to download it. The website itself is there or not sometimes. Next, more recent one, CrimsonRust.eu, modded, fun, and main, at 28,030, 28,015, and 28,020 off of CrimsonRust.eu, and those are the colon numbers. That one's available too, and I have a mega.nz and a drive.google listing for it. Now I'm going to bring up some others that seem to show up and are talked about. One of them is an IP address, a true IP address, starting with 177, and it ends in 28,015, which is a common port number for Rust Legacy. And that's called MACHO-CRAFT. It also goes machocraft.dns.org, and then the port number. And there's also Discord that may or may not work. I'll include the invite, but it keeps crapping out, so I gave up. Then there's RustLeak GameZone ES modded. This is one I've been messing with recently. This one is at 28,015 for the port number, which is a colon, blah, 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 and then has an extra colon number 7. Now, I'm in the old days of DOS, back in the before time. I do know about what this might mean, but it doesn't cooperate with any other versions, and I'm not sure what to do. But anyway, I'll be doing a separate video on that as well today. Then we have Wild Island, MEGALOOT, PvP, and Wild Island Classic 2X. And this one has port number 28015 and another one that's just 2020 at the same raw IP address. Again, this is acquired by looking at all of the different listers for them. Some of these listers will give you a domain name style thing like CrimsonRust.eu, and others will do the same one but give the IP address and link it. I got accused at one time of doxing people or outing their IP address. No, it's because the IP address eventually becomes visible and or you listed it that way on gs4u.net or something, which is what actually happened. But anyway, let's move on. Next, we have RustUj. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. rustuj.cz. We got Battlefield, Arena, and Vanilla. This one is weird because this is one of the servers that would be really picky about the browser, or not browser, excuse me, the Rust client. But it's turned out to be very stable. Even when RustLegacy.eu dies and we can't see it, it's still there. And the IP address doesn't seem to be changing. So add it to your favorites list, even if you can't load it, just so you can have it as a text file on your computer. And yes, eventually, depending on what, when you log in or not, it'll convert it from rustuj.cz to the actual IP address that's used. The IP address may or may not be as reliable, just because you can change an IP address and have the website still work, and vice versa. Next, also rans. We got Morgan. I'm not sure why it's just named Morgan. And it's at play.rustlegacy.eu. These are the conventional ones if you download RustLegacy.eu's version of Rust Legacy. Continue, we got megarust, Lundholm, ogrust.eu, in progress, Trotty, JM's PvP, and we have 5x Home, Share, Clan, TPR Kit. It doesn't have a name, it's just a list of features. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then we have XFun Rust 5x. And that could be a duplicate of Morgan. I don't know. I can't tell. So, yeah. That one's listed even though it's a pure IP address because it may be the same thing. I have it in here as a, it's got a separator on it, and I'm not really sure. So, what was this video about? Again, repeating myself. This is a list of websites, just websites, that let you see the exposed application program interface, API, of them vending a list of servers. And they do it in various ways. Modest proposal. We should be able to make a text file that we put in the directory structure, hint, hint, if you're at Crimson Rust or RustLeak or RustUj or RustLegacy.eu, we should have a text file of server listers where we can put them in and it'll just sort itself out using some subroutine so we can get all of these on every version of Rust Legacy client. Doesn't matter who puts it out, we should be able to find all of them. Also, there needs to be a little bit more interpretability. And on that note, the one that's labeled RustLeak GameZone version, Espanol modded, that version has its own client that seems to work with almost all of this. It won't work on RustRelic or RustRome, which would be a neat thing to add in, hint, hint, but it's very close to working perfectly. And I plan on stealing the code from it and injecting it into RustLegacy.eu's clients as an add-on. Maybe I'll make a video explaining how to do that so that we can have it be a server lister awesome mode. And also want to point out, RustLegacy.eu, you have a bunch of modded ones showing up in the normals. That gets confusing and it always fails, and you need to fix that. Anyway, the one out of the whole bunch so far is RustLeak and, of course, Crimson Rust seem to be the best ones as far as interpretability and universal functionality. They seem to be omnipotent, almost. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. I hope this video has been useful to you. Goodbye.